Hi,
Hi,
and welcome back,
where'd you get that from?
Staten Island. So welcome back to another M&M Sign Out. We are here with our unicorn teacups here that we got from Staten Island. Last time you guys saw us, we were in Staten Island.
Yes, I don't think we mentioned that during the last video. It's very important to know
Yeah, that we were on a Staten Island. That's important.
because there was some background noise in that video and they should know why.
Because it's Staten Island. But we did get something cute out of it. These little cups are souvenirs.
Yeah, unicorn mugs. And we're having some tea. I'm having valerian root lavender chamomile. What are you having?
Ooh, okay. I'm having blood orange herbal tea.
You know, the reason that I'm having this tea is because I was working nonstop, being on call, I told you, this weekend. So basically Thursday morning till this evening. And I want to get some good sleep tonight. And these three things are known to relax you and sleep because I believe in self-care and taking care of myself and making sure that all of my patients and mothers of my patients are healthy and happy, but that I am too, because I need to take care of myself if I'm going to take care of other people, right, Em?
Oh, I 100% completely agree, because I'm all about self-care and, masking, taking care of yourself, doing whatever it is that makes you feel well, right?
Yeah. And that includes taking care of our medical health too.
Yeah. I also really got distracted by your elephant in the background. Sorry.
Wait, was that based on the fact that I'm Indian?
I think so.
Maybe that's why I bought it subconsciously.
I was like, is that Ganesh?
Yeah, but like I wish that I could see more elephants when I go to India, but I don't live in India, but I mean my mom. I don't visit, well, kind of live, because where your mom lives, you live, that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
I don't live in a place where there's like elephants walking around. I think that's more North India, but this is my water planter, and I just think
Oh,
elephants are so darn cute that I got the elephant one. In fact, I just realized my nebulizer machine is an elephant too.
wow. You must really like
I
elephants.
love them. They're such sweet
I
animals.
love elephants too.
Yeah, I also watched something on YouTube, about like the wild. They have all these shows, and they're talking about elephants and how if they can't, when they're walking as a herd, and if the baby gets sick, there's nothing really they can do. And that really bothered me because we do everything to take care of our human babies, and elephants, they can't afford to do that. They have to keep going. Yeah.
Well, do you think that elephants practice self-care then?
Well, all animals really do. They do what it takes to survive as a species and take care of themselves and their loved ones as best they can.
Yeah.
And they're also fit.
Yeah.
So, because they eat the foods that are best for them. They know what they are and they look for them or hunt for them, depending on what they are. And they are always on the go, unless you're a sloth.
Yeah, but sloths are so cute though.
They are cute. They're so popular in popular culture. So what do you want to talk about with
Yeah.
self-care then?
Well, I saw your nails and they're pink and it kind of remind me of our cups too because they're pink.
They're also
They're
pink.
unicorns. And
Look, it's
October,
my unicorn. My unicorn.
yeah, you look just like that.
I think that's why we decided I would get this one and you'd get that one.
Yeah, because my eyes are always open.
Mine are like, hi.
I wonder what kind of elephants we would be if we were elephants.
Do you think I get past the baby phase and make it to adulthood? I feel like I'm not like the best part of the team. I don't think I'm like the top. I don't know if I'm the fittest, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
I don't know if elephants are fit,
I think they are for what they need to do.
Oh, yeah, I would definitely be the one that would just be sitting on my butt and eating.
But you can't though. I feel like when you're moved out of your territory and you have to keep walking, you're fit enough to move forward.
Well, speaking of being fit and wellness and taking care of yourself, right? Going back to your initial thought of like, taking care of yourself after being on call and like needing to take time off, right? Because you have to be well in order for you to take care of your patients, like you're saying, right? So I guess one of the things that you and I were talking about, we were like texting about what should we talk about, what's important, right, in the month of October. By the way, welcome October. I can't believe it's October, but there's
Yeah.
there's lots of things happening this month, right? Right. So one, it's breast cancer awareness month, right? So that's why I thought of the pink in your nails. And with that being said, I think that as females, that's part of being like, that's part of like taking care of yourself, right?
It
Taking care of
is.
your body, like being aware of like what you should be doing to take care of yourself, right? And on different levels, right? From
Mhm.
head to toe. And it just
Yeah.
so happens that this month is breast cancer awareness month. And so, we can segue into like the dreaded mammogram.
Yeah. The before and after pictures. I'm
Yeah.
the before and you're the after. Because you're right. I think it's the sad thing is how women they get so busy basically helping everybody and doing things for everybody, especially if they're a mother or a daughter or a sister. But what I see a lot is the moms, and they're so busy with the kids and taking the kids, and they do everything for them that we do tend to put our own health and well-being on the back burner. Like something like a mani pedi or a massage is thought of as a luxury item when really it's necessary self-care. But when it comes down to it, medical care, at least don't neglect that. You need to be healthy for a long time to come for
Yeah.
everybody around you. And you're important. You need to take care of yourself as a woman. You
Yeah.
need to make sure you're healthy too.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, there's things that are quote unquote like a luxury, like maybe like a massage or like a spa day or like a mani and pedi, right? Like that we get. But when it comes to your health, like those are things that, especially in America, like we live in a country where we have access to things like mammograms, right? Like you would like to think that that's something that all women that live here can go and do when they need to when the time comes.
And many like community hospitals will offer mammograms for free too. So
Yeah.
they are available to everybody.
So like when women turn a certain age, like I get that a lot. Like they're like, so when do I have to get a mammogram? Right. Like, and you might not get that question asked because your kids are still growing and
Yeah, I'm just teaching
like that.
adolescents about self breast exam at this stage.
Yeah. So, you know, for me, like we go by the recommendations of what we call USPSTF, which
Hmm.
is like the United States Preventative Task Force. And it's basically just a bunch of experts that come together and they're like, with evidence, this is what we recommend that, primary care physicians that like family doctors should recommend for their patients. But with that being said, there's other, organizations like ACOG, like the American College of Gynecology,
Hmm.
that also have their rules and guidelines of when you should
Hmm.
be getting your mammogram. And so, the big 40 is kind of like the age that I always thought, when I was
Yeah,
40, I'm like, great, that's the year I get my mammogram. right? Because that's what we always were taught in medical school too, right?
Yeah, that's just what you think of.
Yeah, like 40 is like the end. That's like when you all this stuff goes, right? When we're like we're laughing about it because when we were in med school, we're like, oh yeah, like 40
Yeah.
furrow and blah, we had used to
Yeah.
have like these things that we used to memorize about. And I used to think to myself, wow, like everything happens at 40.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like you suddenly like burst into flames at 40.
Yeah. Like as soon as you like 39.999 and 40. Right? 40, you get a mammogram. 40, you can get gallstones. Who knows? So basically, gynecologists still say that if you are at like moderate risk of breast cancer, you should try to get screening starting at age 40. But that's like a shared decision making thing with your physician and yourself, right? You should talk to your physician and talk to them about your history. If there's family history of like breast cancer and any first degree relatives, then you talk to your gynecologist and you're like, should I get this mammogram at 40? Or should I do what the USPSTF tells us now to do, which is start at age 50 if you're at like low risk, right? So they moved that age from 40 to 50 like a few years ago, actually.
See, I didn't
Um,
know that. That's really interesting.
yeah. So because they realized and started to see that like screening at 40 for women who are low risk, meaning like you don't have like a first degree relative, like let's say mom or like grandma, there's no known history of breast cancer, or like genetic wise, like that you don't have none of your like mom or aunt or grandmother is tested positive for the BRCA gene, which is for the breast cancer gene. Then they were like, oh, we've seen all these women at 40 get mammograms, and there was like a lot of false positives. So they were like, okay, well, there's not really a benefit of doing it that early for women who are low risk, right? Also women who don't smoke, right? Stuff like that, because smoking puts you at increased risk for all kinds of cancer. So they were like, maybe it's better if we just look at all that research and all that data and say, hey, maybe women should start it at 50, right? And then before I used to be like, oh my gosh, I have to get it every year, right? So if it's fine, if it's negative, you can choose to do it every 2 years, and you get to do it until you're like 74 or 75 years old. Okay. Which is a long time. So there's some women like myself who decided for some reason that she should get it at 40.
Why did you decide that? Which, by the way, my colleagues are shocked that I didn't get a baseline at 35.
Why 35?
Everyone says they recommend the gynecologists recommend a baseline at 35 to see what your boobs really are like.
Oh, yeah. So the reason why I got mine at 40 was because, again, I went to a gynecologist who follows ACOG. And she's like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, everyone should get it at 40. So you're 40, here's your order to get your mammogram." Then I'm like, but my USPSTF tells me not to do it until 50 because I'm low risk.
yeah. Held on to a script for my mammogram for over a year. Then I went to go look for it and I lost it. So I got another one this year, a fresh one. And technically I'm a year and a half behind.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
year
I,
order.
I was like a year behind on mine. I got it when I was 40. I didn't do it until I was 41. But the point is that don't listen to us. We're doctors. Um, the point is you there's this whole shared decision making thing. And by the way, also I need a mammogram because go through the fertility thing for IVF, like women have to have a mammogram if they're 40 and doing IVF. So that's also another thing. That's the reason why I needed to get it, because they require you to get a mammogram to make sure that, you're not at risk because you're basically getting all these hormones, blah, blah, blah. So the point is, what I really like about this conversation, Em, is because we get to navigate our health and like our decisions when it comes to our bodies, right? So like you said, you had the script, you decided, with your own decision making processes in your head that goes through your head, that you were like, I'm gonna do this next year or the year after, right?
Well, I lost the script.
All this because you lost it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just kept mine. I was like, I'm not going yet because it's gonna hurt.
I don't know. I thought I had it securely kept somewhere and suddenly it was gone.
And I'm gonna be honest with people. As a doctor, I write prescriptions all the time for mammograms, and a majority of the women come back to me and they're like, that was painful.
They
So
tell you not to drink coffee for 4 days prior, which that in itself is painful.
I've never been told not to drink coffee, but like I would literally not survive if I had to stop 4 days before this.
Yeah. I can't even do one day. I can barely do the morning of.
Right. So they're like, it hurts. It's one of the most painful things I've ever had to do. And I was like,
Wait,
what?
these women had babies?
Yeah. I mean, like, we're talking like women in their 50s going like, the mammogram sucks, so I have to do it every year. And then I was like, oh, like when I get to 40, it's gonna be me. It's gonna be me complaining.
So what should we do then? What are we saying? Because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and if we're going to be aware, what should we be aware of then?
Yeah, so what we need to tell women, what we want you to do is to be empowered to make these choices, right? We're saying as physicians, you could start at 40 if you're high risk, right? Or moderate risk, right? So find out from your family, go talk to your peoples, right? But if you can't, talk to your doctor and ask them, okay, well, I don't know anything about my family. Like, should I start at 40? And you guys can make that decision together. But I would say that you should definitely at least get one in your 40s, right? So if you don't want to do it every year and it comes out fine, it's fine, right? You don't have to do it the next year.
My great aunt died of breast cancer.
On your mom's side.
Hmm.
So, but your mom's been okay.
My mom doesn't like to go to the doctor.
Well, that's what I always get this question at. Like, they're like, my great aunt or like my cousin had breast cancer. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to talk about your mom and your grandma, like your direct first degree relatives, right? Have they gotten checked at least, once in their life and everything's fine, right? We're talking people who have like mom, grandma, like a lot of, like heavy history of breast cancer. Then you should definitely get checked for the genes, like the BRCA genes, right? And then at that point, you should get your sonograms earlier, like in your 30s. So that's when we recommend earlier screening, like if you definitely have a mom with a history or grandma with a history, right? So my thing is, when you're in your 40s, your breasts are still very dense, right? And this all goes back to why they pushed it to 50, because in your 40s, your boobs are still very dense. What that means is like your breasts are still very, robust. And, and so when they looked at the data of all the 40-year-olds that they were doing mammograms on every year from in the past, when they were making us do it in their 40s, they were like, it doesn't really decrease mortality or like risk of cancer more by doing it early in your 40s, right? There's actually more false positives, more biopsies that turn out benign. And so that's why they pushed it to 50, because they're like, by the time you're 50, your breasts are not as robust. It's easier for us to see on the mammogram if there's really like an abnormal lesion.
When you're 40s, you're still young and robust. Come on.
Yes. So it's like your bust is robust. So I know, because first of all, I'm not in the big booby club, but it hurts. Like it hurts, Em.
Does it hurt more for the big boobies?
I was told during my first mammogram that it does hurt more for the bigger boobies, but I don't know. I will really argue with that, because I feel like there's nothing to swoosh. There's nothing to lay flat. You're like all up in the machine and it hurts.
Yeah, I don't know why it would hurt more for the big boobies, because there's more fat there too. It's not like there's just more musculature. There's more fat
Right.
in the big boobies.
Yeah. So like literally I feel like I'm getting stretched like that cartoon character, like I forgot.
Yeah, they're hitting you closer to your lungs
Yeah.
than than the others.
And I feel like it's really testing my rotator cuff too because I'm just like, "Ugh."
I'm not sure I want to do this right now.
Do what, your mammogram?
Yeah, I have it scheduled for November.
Oh, well, I'm just telling you, I had to do like I did mine last week, and you know, I kind of just do it early in the morning, so that I'm still sleepy. So I'm just like, yeah, do whatever you want.
Oh, can I take some Benadryl? Oh, how am I gonna drive home though? Oh, maybe
Yeah,
I'll bring this tea with me.
yeah, like do it while you're sleepy. I think that was a better
So
decision.
no coffee that day.
Yes, it was better decision for me to not go in there with caffeine because the first time I did, I was like hyped up. I was like, right. Like this time, I was just like, yeah, sure.
Should I take, or all the ladies listening, do we take Motrin ahead of time?
I
Some
mean, it wouldn't
ibuprofen?
hurt. Like, well, for me, I don't know what it does to you, but when I take ibuprofen, I'm like, whoa,
It doesn't do any of those things to me.
I'm like an addict. Like, oh, like I don't know what Motrin does to me, but it wakes me up. And so if it doesn't do that to
Wow.
you, you can.
See, I never noticed because for me, it takes away my pain. If it's a headache, if it's menstrual cramps, just gone. And
Yeah,
because of that, I feel more awake and alive because I'm
that's
not in
probably what it
pain
is.
anymore.
So maybe you should just go in there like without caffeine and like feel the pain because then you're just like won't even know what happened.
So how many painful things is that for women now? Okay. Childbirth, monthly
So,
menses.
well, we don't want to
Now we
deter.
got the boobies involved too.
Well, we don't want to deter women. The point is that we're being real with you and we're telling you how it is, like to get a mammogram. Okay. It's not fun. We're not saying like go and it's like the most joyous thing in the world. It's kind of like getting a pap smear, right? You get a pap, then
Oh,
you get your mammogram.
yeah, that goes on the list too. But you know what though? Well worth it. Because you know what hurts more? Breast cancer.
Right.
My colleague is going through her second battle and it's not fun. She's,
Uh,
on all this chemo and these medications and she's working through it all. She
yeah.
doesn't feel well. She's always tired. She doesn't have an appetite, but she's a power woman chugging through
Yeah.
and doing what she needs to do.
I mean, there's just like a lot of things that we don't want to go through, like going to the dentist, it's like stuff
Mhm.
like that. It's like
Yeah.
we know it's good to do. We don't like it. But once you get it done, you're done.
And you'll be glad you got tested and made sure because
Yeah.
your risk does increase as you get older.
Yeah.
So even if you don't get it in your 40s, you got to get a mammogram in your 50s.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
definitely have to get in your 50s. Like
Yeah.
50, you definitely got to get your mammogram. And now you got to get your colonoscopy before that. So,
It's all preventive care because, I think we all know somebody or many somebodies who've had breast cancer,
yeah.
had breast cancer, died of breast cancer, survived breast cancer. When I worked at the Limited right after college, remember that store? The
Yeah. I
sister
love the
store
limited.
express, yeah. My sister got me the job there because I wasn't near cool enough to get it on my own. Yeah, you could see that.
Did you think you
And
were like a Forever 21?
yeah, they didn't hire me even at Delia's. They were like, go work at like the the cookie store again.
Like on Annie's or something.
Yeah, or Great American Cookies. So anyway, so we had a colleague there. She was in her 20s
Yeah.
and she had survived breast cancer. Now, I don't know her family history.
Yeah.
She probably had significant family history.
Yeah.
So,
And like we said, like, smoking, right? So smoking cigarettes is always going to put you at risk for a lot of these cancers, right? And and unfortunately, like one of the risk factors for like breast cancer is like, not having had a child, right? By a certain age. So like that puts us like at a higher risk for that reason because if you're nully, which we call nulliparous, which is like never had a baby, that does put you at high risk for a lot of things, which kind of sucks because you're like,
Yeah, but think about it. On the other hand, you get more mani-pedi days. So that's gotta combat some of that because of the relaxation. Um,
but that's another story of like why there's, you know, like why women who are barren are at risk. Is it because we're more exposed to nail stuff? Is it
we
because we get
because we got
caught
too many
nails?
massage oils in our system.
Is it because we're in the UV light too much? The point is, ladies, get your mammogram when your doctor tells you to, or at least advises you to. That's important. That's part of your
And
wellness.
feel free to talk to them about why,
Yes.
how it's gonna be. You can always ask questions. Please don't do a Google search and then discuss what you find on Google.
Yes. And touch your boobs, like examine yourself, like get to know your body so
I'm
that
glad you bring that up. You have to do these self-breast exams every month after your period
yeah.
because that is your baseline breast tissue. Prior to it, you're more cystic and full and you may be uncomfortable, you may not feel your baseline. So after the period, probably like a day or two after, gotta get in there, circular motion or up and down motion, and don't forget your armpit.
Yeah, I mean, get into your armpit, look at yourself in the mirror, make sure you look at your areola and your nipples. It's important for you to get to know yourself and how you look, because if you're not looking, you don't know what your normal is for yourself, right? Like you don't know. Like like why do you gotta wait for me to look at your boobs?
No, you shouldn't because you know your own body the best. So you're the first one who's going to notice when something's different. Like, oh, I never noticed that lump before, that bump, or why does that feel weird, or
Right.
why does that hurt? And that's why, because the lymph nodes where the cancer cells would flow do go up under your underarm.
Yeah.
So you do need to check those areas too. And part of your breast tissue goes there too. Remember that axillary tail of Spence we learned in anatomy class?
Gosh. Yeah. Do you know a lot of medical students don't know that?
Oh my God, we were so obsessed with it.
We were upset. Oh my God. I was telling one of the med students that I was like, you don't know where the tail expense is? I was obsessed with that as a med student. And they were like,
Yeah, we
I've
were
never
obsessed
heard
with
of
it.
it.
The day he taught us about it, we
We
were
were
like,
like, our
oh
mind was
my God.
blown. Like, wow, we have breast in our axilla. We're like, wow. I can't believe
Yeah,
it's all the way up there.
it was pretty cool. We all checked to see if we had one because not all the women have it.
Yeah. And there's some women who like definitely have it and it's very obvious. And then they come in and they're like, what is this? And I'm like, that's your tail expense.
So check it, palpate.
Check yourself, check your robust bust. It's October, so you need to get your mammogram in, even though you're getting it in
Okay,
November.
I'm gonna get mine in November. That was the next available appointment they had. I'm going to drink coffee, but not the day before. No, not the day of.
Yeah, don't like just go in there sleepy. Make sure you have like an early morning one because like also mammogram places are very busy and that's why it takes forever for you to get an appointment. So and when you go, like there's a crap load of women waiting for their mammograms too. So
What? This is gonna be a group thing?
I mean, basically, there's a whole bunch of women that are there the same day, and you guys are going in increments, right? And then you're gonna wait in this waiting room with your like gowns on. It's fine because everyone's boobies are hanging anywhere, so it's cool. It's
I
totally fine.
thought this is like a spa day, but not really.
It's kind of like a spa day. I was sitting there going, "Girl, we should have mask on." But the lady next to me was not as cool, so I was just like,
I should bring my mask and be like, what? We're doing a whole spa day on
"That's
my jade
true."
roller while I'm waiting for my turn.
What I was thinking is like maybe like those like LED masks because they're portable. Instead of like the wet ones, you just bring the one with the light and you're just hanging out and like imagine that you're hanging out in the waiting room. We're like, just here waiting for my mammogram. OOTD. This is my outfit of the day.
The
You like
best
my
part is
gown?
you said OTD in our last live because I've been working on an audio for it. And every time I'm editing that, I start cracking up.
So I can't wait to hear your story about your mammogram and when you go.
Yeah. Next time we get together, I will tell everybody how my mammogram went. And then we'll talk a little bit more about self-care, being a woman, and taking care of yourself, and how we're teaching our young girls to do the same. Because I need to tell you the story about this girl, this teenager in my office today, crying and crying and
Oh,
crying.
so our next episode should definitely be about self-care and like owning yourself as a woman, as a girl, as a female, and doing you. Like do you. You do
You
you.
have to love yourself. You gotta look in the mirror and tell yourself, especially when you're sad, you have to say, but I love you. I love you.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with that.
I have a full length mirror when I'm really sad. I look in it and I'm crying and I tell myself, I love you, and I hug myself.
That's nice. I like that. That's like your mantra.
Yeah, I
I
love
should
you.
tell myself more of that, but I'm too into myself.
Yeah, that's okay. Wait, so why don't you say I love you to yourself?
Oh, because I already know I love myself.
See, yeah, but shouldn't you? It wouldn't hurt to say it sometimes. Be like, Mary, I know you love me, but it'd be nice if I heard it once in a while.
That's true. Maybe I tell myself like unknowingly all the time. Maybe that's why I don't. With my robust bust.
Yeah, and that's the most important. You gotta love your own bust. Come on.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm just gonna put it out there too. Like that I was like telling the girl that was doing my sonogram, I was like, when I was younger, I used to be like, I want big boobs. And it's like she's like in there really trying to be professional as I'm like trying to tell her jokes about my life. And she's like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah, you need to get the smaller plate. This happened last year. We know what's happening. And she goes, oh, you're right. We need to get the smaller plate. So she's going there, they're getting the small ones because there's different sizes of how they're gonna do
Oh,
mammograms depending on your breast size. So it was cute that she like thought it would be like a medium, and I was like, girl,
she
you need
probably didn't want to offend you at first.
yeah.
You know, when
So
you buy your friend that t-shirt and it's a medium, but you know they need a large.
right, like that. So I was like, girl, you need to get a smaller one because I've been through this already. But I was like, when I was younger, I really wanted big boobs, and like now that I've done this, like this is my second time doing this mammogram, I'm like, I don't know if I really want big boobs because I feel like that would hurt more.
No, but I'm with you. I think it hurts probably more when there's not any cushion there.
Yeah. And she said that the big boobs women do complain more of pain than like the smaller
Oh,
women. So I don't know.
interesting.
Yeah. But it all goes back to that whole concept of like you always want what you don't have. But then I'm like at that point I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm happy with what I have. Thank you very much.
Yes, we should be happy with what we have,
The
not
mammogram.
unhappy with what we don't have.
Yeah,
But
for
I
sure.
think we have like a couple minutes left on this. So
Yeah.
what should we say to sign out to everybody?
Well, we're signing out that it's important. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We need to remember that taking care of yourself is the most important thing, especially as females. Like you said, we get busy in our lives trying to fill all the different roles and all the different hats that we all have on the daily. But we have to remember and recognize that we are the most important part of that. And before we can take care of others, we have to take care of ourselves. And that's what October is remembering and honoring those women like your friend who are dealing with breast cancer, who have fought breast cancer, who know people who've been through breast cancer, so that this is the whole point of this month, is for us to remember that and to honor that, like, that our bodies are important and we are important, right?
Yes, we're important and we need to stay healthy and strong, take care of ourselves, and like you said, honor the women who've been through it and
Yeah.
their families who think about it all the time.
So don't only just wear pink this month, but if you're in that age group to get your mammogram, please go for it. And we support you and we're here and we're telling you, like, I've done it and Em's going to do hers in November. So, sharing stories like this, I think, empower women and each other to go and to get their mammograms, because if you don't share your story, maybe like other people won't want to do it, right? Unless they hear like, oh, she's been through it and she's okay.
Yeah,
Right. So we should have like a share your mammogram Instagram.
yeah. Don't feel isolated. Don't feel alone. If you
Yeah.
share, you'll find out other people went through it, and if you talk about it, then we can all at least feel like we're part of a team.
Yeah. Like we should be sharing more of that stuff on social media also. Like it's like a thing, like it's a normal thing, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get to see that more this month and we'll see what's out there and what women are doing, right? Like Instagram your mammogram.
All right.
Well, M&M sign
Yeah.
out for October. I'll see you soon, M, and we'll talk more about self-care. Here's our unicorns. I hope y'all enjoy. If you guys have questions, you could always comment on our video, like and subscribe,
Yes. Remember to
right?
subscribe and share.
Share this, because this might be the only information that some people get. So sharing is caring. Bye, Em.
Bye.